In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs of 9th of April. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. This is the name of Telegram channel, GKToday YouTube. So now, let's start. The Cabinet approved the temporary suspension of MPLAD fund for how many years because of this coronavirus pandemic. So MPLAD stands for Members of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. So right answer is 2. So for 2 years, this fund have been suspended and therefore the amount of this MPLAD scheme will be moved to CFI. CFI stands for Consolidated Fund of India. It is important to note that this MPLAD is a scheme of MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And as per this scheme, the members of parliament used to get 5 crores per year for the development work. Now apart from that, the cabinet also promulgated an ordinance to reduce the salaries and pensions of the members of parliament by 30% for 1 year. Now if we talk about ordinance, Article 123 of Indian Constitution contains the provisions for ordinance powers of President, while Article 213 contains the provisions for ordinance powers of governors. The government has constituted an empowered committee to coordinate with the private sector, NGO and international organizations related to COVID-19. Now the question is, who is the chairperson of this empowered committee? So this empowered committee will be headed by Mr. Amitabh Kant, who is the CEO of Niti Aayog at present. So this empowered group is going to coordinate with private sector, non-governmental organizations and with the international organizations in the context of COVID-19. Now, if we talk about Niti Aayog, it is an executive body. Recently, Niti Aayog was in news as it released first India Innovation Index, and this index was topped by Karnataka. Niti Aayog was also in news as recently it released School Education Quality Index, and this index was topped by Kerala. Now Kerala was also in news as recently India's first LNG bus service was started in Kerala in Kochi. The highest ever highway construction by the NHAI, that is National Highways Authority of India, was achieved in which financial year? So recently NHAI announced the completion of construction of 3979 km of highways in the financial year 2019-20, and as per the official statement, this is the highest ever highway construction achieved in a financial year by NHAI. NHAI is under Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. The present minister is Mr. Nitin Gadkari. His constituency is Nagpur. Recently, Mr. Nitin Gadkari was also in news as he launched India's first intercity electric bus service, and this service is between Mumbai to Pune. Recently, Pune was in news as it is going to be the host of next year Indian Science Congress. Pune was also in news as MyLab Discovery is a Pune-based company, and recently it became the first Indian company which has developed a coronavirus testing kit. Answer in comment box who is the head of this company which was in news recently. India has received 1.7 lakh personal protection equipments donated by which country after opening the supply lines from abroad? Right answer is China. So this PPE is an important term for exam. PPE stands for personal protection equipment. So India recently received PPE coveralls which have been donated by China. It is important to note that China was also in news as this outbreak of coronavirus started from Wuhan in China. So Wuhan is in China. China was also in news as it is the host of next Asian Games, and recently the mascot of these Asian Games were announced. Answer in comment box what is the name of mascot announced for Asian Games. China was also in news as it is the host of 2022 Winter Olympic Games. On the other hand, Italy is the host of 2026 Winter Olympic Games. Italy was also in news as in 2021, Italy is going to be the host of G20 Summit. And this year, Saudi Arabia is the president of G20 Summit. Saudi Arabia became the member of FATF recently. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force, and FATF is an initiative of G7. And USA is the host of G7 Summit this year. USA was also in news as recently it signed a deal with Taliban in Doha in Qatar. Taliban is a militant group of Afghanistan. And recently Mr. Ashraf Ghani got re-elected as the president of Afghanistan. The capital of Afghanistan is Kabul. And recently there was a attack on Sikh Gurudwara in Afghanistan, and therefore NIA, that is National Investigation Agency, is going to investigate this. And this is the first overseas investigation done by NIA. Praveen Rao has been appointed as the new chairman of which industry body of India? Right answer is NASSCOM. So Mr. UB Praveen Rao is going to be the chairman of NASSCOM, while Rekha M. Menon is going to be the vice chairperson. Apart from that, if we talk about few other appointments, recently Mr. Bimal Julka was appointed as Chief Information Commissioner. On the other hand, Mr. Ravinder Singh Dhillo was appointed as the new CMD of Power Finance Corporation. In addition to that, recently Mr. Rajiv Bajaj was reappointed as the MD and CEO of Bajaj Auto. Next question is, which port trust became the first state-owned port trust to invoke the clause of force majeure at the backdrop of coronavirus outbreak? So right answer is Kolkata Port Trust. Now what exactly is the meaning of this force majeure clause? This clause is invoked when firms are not able to meet the contractual commitments. That means they are not able to fulfill the contract obligations for the reasons beyond their control. That means if there was a contract and if there was a commitment because of that contract, and the commitment cannot be fulfilled because of some reason which is beyond the control. So because of this coronavirus, Kolkata Port Trust became the first state-owned, that means first government-owned port trust to invoke this clause. Now it is important to note that recently Kolkata Port Trust completed 150 years, and this port was renamed as Shama Prasad Mukherjee Port Trust. This port was also in news as for the first time in our history, any port presented its tableau on the Republic Day ceremony. The president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, was the chief guest of this year's Republic Day ceremony. Brazil was also in news as it was the host of last BRICS summit. Which day that is celebrated on 6th of April focus on the health benefits of participating in sporting and physical activity amid social distancing this year? So right answer is International Day of Sport for Development and Peace, and it was observed on 6th of April. And this year, the United Nations announced a tagline for this day, and the tagline is, for the International Day of Sport this year, let's be active and healthy to beat the COVID-19. What is the tagline for World Health Day 2020? So World Health Day is observed on 7th of April every year, and the tagline for World Health Day is support nurses and midwives, and it is celebrated by WHO. WHO was also in news as recently it gave the official name to the disease caused by coronavirus, and the name of this disease is COVID-19. And to prevent the transmission of this disease, the government of India has announced 21 days lockdown. And to restore the normalcy after lockdown period, recently PMO constituted a task force. Answer in comment box who is the head of this task force. Which Asian country has declared a state of emergency over coronavirus? Right answer is Japan. So recently Japan has declared emergency. The Prime Minister of Japan is Shinzo Abe. Japan was also in news as Japan was the host of 2020 Summer Olympic Games, and these games were supposed to be in Tokyo in Japan, and recently they were postponed to 2021. Now, because of the postponement of Summer Olympic Games in 2021, the World Games are going to be in 2022, and USA is the host of World Games. Now, Japan was also in news because of Mission Purvodaya, and Mission Purvodaya is associated to development of steel sector, and for this India and Japan are going to work together, and the Kalingnagar in Odisha is the center of this initiative. The Chief Minister of Odisha is Mr. Naveen Patnaik, and recently he was in news as he was awarded by PETA. PETA stands for People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, which firm has bagged the order from Indian Army to set up Unified Network Management System. Right answer is L&T, that is Larsen and Toubro. The present Chief of Indian Army is General Manoj Mukund Narwane. Recently, Indian Army was in news as it launched Operation Namaste to provide support during this coronavirus pandemic. Apart from that, recently IAF, that is Indian Air Force, launched Operation Sanjeevani to provide medical aid to Maldives. Now, Maldives was also in news as recently it became a member of IORA. IORA stands for Indian Ocean Rim Association. The headquarters of IORA is in Mauritius, and recently UAE became the president of IORA for next 2 years, while Bangladesh became the vice president for next 2 years. Maldives was also in news as recently it rejoined Commonwealth. Answer in comment box which country is the host of 2022 Commonwealth Games. So these were the important questions of today's quiz. Thank you, and that's all for the day.